I'm John Hogan. If I haven't met you, I would love to have a conversation with you. If I have met you, I want to continue the conversation. So please find me this week, next week. I tend to be here every week. So, but again, thank you for coming to 1 Million Cups. First thing, if you have yet to check in, please go ahead and scan the QR code. From there, just put your email address, and we'll get to the next set of that. Okay, everyone good? So as you see, there's a big hole in the ground outside the building. I think I was told they have one more month of that. So there's construction, there's the parking there with the red box, I think it is. But if you want to know what they're doing, they've done like a video, I think on MLive, which is really cool. Last week they had, which I thought was really cool, they had people who were divers who came in because they're doing sewer work. They had divers. There were about 3 or 4 different trucks here. So very cool, but look up I guess the big dig here in Ann Arbor. So also, if you have yet to follow us, which I would assume that everybody on here has been following us on LinkedIn, that's where we post our information about our events. We have over 1,000 followers, thank you. Yes, and if you don't know, our stretch goal is 3,622. So if you know people, have them join. Also, we have on YouTube, we do have some video there as well as on LinkedIn for these presentations. If you have not already, please silence your devices. It would be respectful for the presenter, also your fellow attendees. If you're a first-time visitor, could you raise your hand? I got 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So if you would, if you could tell us your name and how did you hear about us? Will, can I have you start?
Yeah, my name's Will Purvis, and I heard about you through.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome. I've got 2 back there. So.
Like you see, I heard about us, or you all. Through a friend, I'm starting a business after leaving my corporate job, so happy to be here.
Welcome. Thank you for coming. Sai?
I'm Sai. I just moved to town about a month ago and was active in my local 1MC chapter there, so happy to switch over my membership as a
That is wonderful. Welcome, Sai. Where?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Great. Thank you. And if you have been here more than 4 times, can you raise your hand? Who would like to let me know why you keep coming back?
You guys are awesome. There's no better way to spend my Wednesday morning.
Yes. So what is 1 Million Cups? 1 Million Cups is funded by the Kauffman Foundation. It's to lower the barriers of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the U.S. They just had a big conference, last week in Kansas City, and it was wonderful for 3 of our people on the organizing committee to be there, and you can just see the energy and the growth that they have for this, and it's such a needed community out there. Our core program, this is free, open to the public. It's a short presentation, and there's Q&A afterwards. Presenting business needs to be less than 5 years old, and it's what can we as a community do to help you, and that should always be the guiding question as we move forward. The key pillars, these are presentations, not pitches. They're We provide authentic connections, not networking. And it's run by the community. Run for the community, by the community, and we are radically and intentionally inclusive. Yes. Our code of conduct, be respectful and professional. Can I say this? This is not Shark Tank. This is Minnow Tank. What we want to do is we want to focus on the speaker's biggest challenges, positive, specific, and constructive language in your suggestions. If we need to, and I think we say this every week, here's the white card to reset the room. I've been told that we've never used this, but if for some reason you guys get out of hand, we'll bring this out, or I guess I will bring this out. So please don't make me use this on you. Yeah. And then we wanted to thank our venue sponsor, Bamboo. They have locations here, Royal Oak, Midtown Detroit, downtown Detroit, Grand Rapids. If you are interested in getting a sponsor or being able to use this, mention 1MC at the front desk and you get a special discount. Would you like to become a sponsor or coffee sponsor? How did that to sponsor coffee? Okay, yeah. So we have, obviously we're pretty full through the end of August, which is good. We have time starting in September and afterwards. So if you would like to become a coffee sponsor, either contact April or even any of the organizing committee. Oh, let me get back. Did you want to, and QR code? Very good. Okay. So our coffee sponsor today is Arbor Trading Post. So. Is that going to work? No. One mic? Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Hey guys, good morning. I'm Shailesh Kumar. This is Isabel Wong. And we run Arbor Trading Post. We started this company about 5 years ago. And it has taken us some time to grow, and we have done it slowly. But this is handmade, handcrafted leather goods. We call it quiet luxury, right? But this is handmade in Ann Arbor. And we have slowly expanded in many markets. A little bit about myself, in addition to co-founding Arbor Trading Post, I run my own management consulting firm. I think many of you know me. I'm also a board member at Washington Literacy for adult literacy in Ann Arbor and Southeast Michigan area. And Isabel is a board member at the Artisan Market out here in Ann Arbor. Our mission is to use sustainable to make sustainable handcrafted leather goods using premium ethical materials, responsible processes. So what we use is something called vegetable tanning process, so there are no chemicals used in tanning the leather, and authentic craftsmanship. So we pride ourselves in making goods by hand. So we don't really have, large machines, just making things in bulk. And then we are also focused on providing opportunities for people in the community who face barriers to employment, etc. So we can employ them in our firm.
Yeah, we have a wide variety of products, including wallets. We have been doing a lot of wallets and small goods, and this year our focus is handmade leather handbags. We also do leather canvas mixed hybrid bags, which are very popular among a lot of people. So stay tuned, and we have new products coming out. Okay, here we go. And here we're just showing you some nice pictures of our making process. We are transparent with every step of our production, from where we source the material and how we make it. If you visit our website, under every product, the description will tell you how it's made, where the material is from, and everything is made here in Ann Arbor. And in this year, in the next few months, we are working with Encompass Michigan and the Small Business Association of Michigan, so that we are building a holiday gift basket, which is a collection of locally made products from Michigan. If you are thinking of gifting your clients, your family members, your loved ones, some special gifts from Michigan, please stay tuned, and we will send newsletters and let you know once it's ready.
So thank you all. If you guys can point your phones to the QR code, you can subscribe to our newsletter. We send it out maybe a few times a month, so it's not too frequent. And we just talk about what's going on in the company, some of the new products that we are launching, as well as where we are participating around the community.
Go back on.
Okay. And you have a 10% discount if you sign up. Thank you.
So if you get an opportunity, I would go ahead and use a QR code to get on their newsletter, and that's wonderful, the 10% off discount, and all the products look great. So here we go. So wrong way. Okay, so next I would like to, how many members of the organizing team are here? I've got, raise your hand. I got 1, 6, 5, 6, 6, 7. There we go. So if you have any questions or coffee sponsor, want to become a presenter, seek us out, and but just ask us questions. If you would like to present at 1MC, but you're presenting your business to a helpful audience. It's not a pitch. You get the range of perspectives of such a great group in this room. Companies have to be less than 5 years old. No franchises or MLMs. You get to receive a free coaching session from one of the 1MC volunteers, and scan the QR code, or also you can go through the 1millioncups.com/presents. Our upcoming presenters, are you going to be next? We have room after September, and you know, if you're interested, go ahead and fill out or apply today so that you can get into one of those slots, whether in October or November. Excuse me. But yeah, and we do a good job of being able to put your information out there as a presenter through our LinkedIn post, and so you get a lot more benefit than just being in front of such a great audience here. Let me go back. So our speaker today, I'd like to invite up Laura Murphy, who is going to be our presenter today.
There's no way to get this one up too?
No.
Not today? Okay,
Not today.
that's fine. That's fine. Hi everyone, good morning. So nice to see you all. Who is Laura Murphy? Who is that person? I'm so excited to talk to you all today. It's been really fun coming to 1MC the last several weeks. And Laura Murphy is a designer, she's an engineer, she's an educator, she's a people person, which is why I think I like this crowd. When I first put together that, like, who is Laura Murphy? The acronym is DEEP. I love to think I'm very deep. Yes. These are all my beautiful little pets who are a big part of my life. best friend little Rosie over here, and my kitties Penelope and Charlie. But professionally, I'm an engineer, and so I have a bachelor's and master's in mechanical engineering, and was working in industry for several years, and kind of had this interest in disability and technology, and how can we actually change the world for the better using engineering. And I just saw and experienced in practice that we weren't really doing all that we could be as practicing engineers. We could be doing so much more, and it was like, well, why aren't we doing better here? Why are there so many problems in the world still, despite so many smart people working on them? So I went back to grad school, and I earned my PhD in an interdisciplinary design and engineering program, and that was all about exploring inclusive engineering design processes. So I worked with an engineering faculty, a faculty in cognitive science, a faculty in disability studies, a faculty in human-computer interaction, so very interdisciplinary. And since finishing that a couple years ago, I've been building my consulting business that I'm going to talk to you all about today. But I would say this is sort of the thesis of my career, is that engineering can help people, right? Engineering created the chairs that we're sitting on today. But we also know that engineering can and does harm people. So a couple examples that have come up in the last few years are pulse oximeters. Has anyone used those pulse oximeters in a hospital? Yeah. So we've known for about 40 years that technically pulse oximeters work worse for people with darker skin. This has been a known problem for about 40 years. And yet, this study that came out early COVID, I think it was 2021-ish, 2022, was showing that because of these pulse oximeters working worse for people of color, those patients were receiving less supplemental oxygen in their care. And so they were receiving worse medical care as a result. This is an engineering problem that we can and should have solved, right? Here's another one, the COVID-19, the rapid tests, those kind of plastic orange ones that you might be familiar with that we were all taking. Those were inaccessible to people that were blind. And so there's some really amazing firsthand testimonies from this New York Times article. Chrissy Smith said, "Not all of us have access to somebody sighted to help with things on a regular basis. So it's this mix of frustration and just feeling a bit helpless." Engineers didn't consider people that were maybe different from them or people that had different, requirements. And I think we should do better. Just one example in the room even, I get migraines really easily from overhead lighting. And this room doesn't dim, the lights don't dim in this room. That's an engineering choice, right? And if those lights dimmed, this room would be more accessible to me. So I see these problems all over, right? This is everywhere. We need to be doing better, yeah. These are two of, like I said, so many examples. I have this like Rolodex in my brain of these horrible engineering, choices that we've made. And I think we can do better. I think engineers can do better. But what I've found through my research and practice is that engineers are often wildly undertrained in the sociotechnical skills that they need to take on the world's most complex challenges, right? And engineers, kind of on top of that, they're not equipped with the sort of evidence-based methods that we need to develop human-centered technology. So that's where I come in, right? What I do. I help engineers and engineering teams learn new ways of solving problems that center people. So I do this in three main ways. One is I develop and teach mostly graduate courses on engineering and design and disability, also undergrad and high school, but mostly graduate students. The second is I develop public education. I have a newsletter on Substack that I'll show you the link later. I'm also developing a podcast with my friend Will here on disability and technology that I'm super excited about. And finally, what I want to talk with you about today is my consulting work. So I consult directly with engineering teams in industry to help support development of human-centered technology. So like I said, before grad school, I was a practicing engineer for years. Through grad school, I was studying primarily practicing engineers. And after grad school, my intention is to be working with practicing engineers. I want to make sure what I do is really applicable, is really useful. And what I've learned from that, I've learned for sure that relationships are everything. Word of mouth goes a very long way. Every consulting gig I've ever gotten has been through word of mouth, which is amazing. I just adore that my business life centers human connection, right? And I think that's what a lot of us experience. But what I'm struggling with is that people don't necessarily know what a expert on design processes is or does. That's not necessarily super obvious to people. And so I'm wondering if I'm maybe missing some like low-hanging fruit on how I can reach the people that I'm hoping to actually impact and connect with. So in terms of what this community can do for me, a couple of things that I've been thinking about is I want to be making more connections. Is everything good?
Yeah.
Oh. I want to make more connections with practicing engineers and engineering managers across industries. I work across industries. I can tell you more about that in our sort of Q&A. So I think two areas is one is help me talk about what I do so that it makes sense to the people that I'm trying to reach. And then the second is help connecting me to specific individuals in your networks who might share similar interests and values. So like one ideal person is like, you know, an engineering manager at Ford who's really trying to develop impact-based technologies. Like I would love to be in these conversations around autonomous vehicle development because I think they're wildly missing some huge opportunities there. So from my new business website, this is slightly off, that's okay. Yeah. This is from my new business website that I just put out like a week ago or something. I wrote that inclusive design consulting helps engineers across industries center people more intentionally during design. We organize and facilitate co-design workshops for teams across industries, execute front-end design work like stakeholder mapping and engagement, and conduct continued professional education for practicing engineers. So my website is cultivatinginclusivedesign.com. So this was sort of my, not first, but you know, early attempt at trying to characterize my work. And I thought that could be kind of a topic of discussion for us. So yeah, I'll come to my contact slide briefly. A really good way to stay connected with me is my newsletter, drlauramurphy.substack.com. I do have a LinkedIn. I will say I'm quite precious about my LinkedIn. So I don't connect with people unless we've actually had a conversation. So I'm happy to connect with everyone, but I want to make sure I know you, I remember you. So if we haven't yet talked, maybe send me a note and we can find a time to chat. But maybe I'll go back. We can do a bit of a Q&A around this slide. Does that work? Okay. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Laura. Hello? Nope.
Good. There it goes.
There we go. So thank you, Laura. That was wonderful. As I was telling her beforehand, I think she was ready 3 weeks ago to do this presentation. It's been a joy to be able to have conversations in the last week with Laura and just see everything that she's doing. And so let's go ahead and we'll start off with, yes.
So I'm thinking about this co-design workshops, and you took an example of engineering manager at Ford. Mm-hmm. You actually need to be kind of embedded in their team, right?
I turned this off because I didn't want them to wig out. Maybe I'll take it. Sometimes. So what's interesting is I've had longer term engagements over several months with people, and I've also come in and just done like one-day sessions with people. So I've developed a quite good skill set at reading what people need quite quickly. But yeah, I think the longer engagement, the better. Ultimately, my work relies on you being an expert in what you're doing, and me just complementing and supporting and organizing the kind of processes that we want to go through.
Because I was thinking early on that, it must be really hard for you to go to a company and say, hey, your product sucks, and it needs to be changed, right?
Sorry, can you say that again? I got distracted. Okay, we're good.
I was saying that for you to go to a company and say your product sucks.
Oh, no, totally, yeah. Oh, that's the challenge, right? So what's interesting is that it's not actually saying like, oh, you suck, you're terrible, right? Of course, that wouldn't work at all. It's saying like, I know that you care about building a more inclusive world. Like most of the people that I know already see the problems. They know about these examples. They know that engineers can and should be doing better, and they don't really know how to put that value into action. They want to engage with stakeholders, but they're like, oh my God, where do I even start? And I'm like, let me introduce you to a strategy, a framework, a process that we can go through that's structured, that's limited, or bounded, I should say. So yeah, I'm overwhelmingly working with people that are already very values aligned with me. And that's really who I'm trying to reach first, for sure.
Actually, let me do this. I don't think we need a microphone, so.
Do I need it for the?
You
Yeah,
just
okay.
stand closer.
Just
there
this
we go.
one? This one's good.
Yeah, I think, hi Laura, I've seen you around LineWeber all summer long as you've been teaching the class.
I've seen you around.
But yeah, I think when you got to the end and the statement with inclusive design consulting and your website name, it's like, oh, cool, that all ties it together.
Yeah.
I think just like saying those things at the start,
Yeah.
saying like, using those terms
Sure.
that you've selected so well, those are the terms I think that really front end the conversation. Like, you can sell that to Ford by saying like, include more customers, increase the value you bring to all of your customers by designing for the most vulnerable, or like just talking about the value that you bring by including more customers, by better serving a larger customer group. All of those things can be tied into profits and the things that motivate people's decisions. But I think the terms that you selected are good. Cultivating inclusive design, expanding access, terms like that, I think could be really helpful. Otherwise, I don't know any other ways to expand number one. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, thank you for that.
So we're starting with clarifying questions. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, yes.
So, he touched on actually the same topic that I want to think of. As of right now, given that you're working with corporations, which as we all know have tons of soul and tons of insight, and definitely have the best people's interests at heart. Okay, but it's actually, because we actually know it's all cynical. So, having worked in the automotive industry myself, and knowing how people will fight over fractions of pennies on any given part, how do you communicate the value there when people are strictly looking at dollars and cents and are extremely cost conscious?
Yeah, it's a great question, like many people have asked me before. And I think the short answer is that I show that through kind of past examples, which means I have to accrue more past examples to demonstrate. My interest isn't to be an economist. My interest isn't to have an MBA. My interest is to be an expert on design processes that have been shown time and time again to lead to more effective, more impactful technologies, not just for the good of the world, but for more sustainable businesses. So I would love to have a partner in my business eventually who maybe had more skills in that area. And I think for me, I've been lucky to find more values-driven clients that kind of already understand the business case for it. I had another thing to say, and I'm not remembering, so yes, thank you.
The next question is still in the same vein,
Sure.
so maybe it'll pop back up. In the thread of capitalism ruining lots of things, you're doing a great job of landing the values proposition for, like, this is the way things should be.
Yeah.
From the work that you've done already, is there anything you can point to that shows an increase in addressable market, or like basically like I'm sorry, I lost your name, but to the previous point of showing increases in profit and revenue and market that I think will help you pitch more?
Yeah, I mean, I'm only like 2 years into this, right? So the long-term gains have not yet like necessarily become apparent to me, but I think that's something I have great relationships with my past clients. Like, I think that is such a great example of, I should go back to those past clients and say, like, can you tell me more about the impact here? But what came to mind when, with these two questions was the engineer that I want to reach, which I found one of them recently in the last year. And she's someone who's been an environmental engineer the last decade. And she, from undergrad, was really passionate about environmental justice, but didn't necessarily know how that was gonna work in this corporate environment. And she's just been like doing the work. She's been like punching that brick wall for 10 years of just trying to be the only person in her company who even knew the term environmental justice. And then, you know, a huge wealth of funding came in for environmental justice around 2020, and then it's been great, and then it's been like less great the last 2 years. And so this whole journey she's gone on, and she has been totally alone in that. Now she is the director of the environmental justice department at her company. I mean, she's just killing it, right? She is so burnt out. And I'm like, girl, like, I wish I knew you. Like, I wish we could have been supporting each other. Like, part of the work I want to do is reach the engineers who are just doing the work already and, like, say, like, let me give you language for this. Let me facilitate some work with your team. Let me provide you the resources that you don't have and you would need to be able to be more effective in spreading this work.
A couple things for you. One is I work for the Center for Disability Health and Wellness as a contract worker, and I'm seeing a lot of, they use community action boards. You probably know about them.
A little bit.
Yeah, so that it seems like a way that they get people involved in like the work they do, writing papers, changing medical practices.
Okay.
They're big on that. Second is LinkedIn is great. Bill Ford Jr. is on there. He'll probably answer your connection. And he's got all these
awesome.
interns. I would just talk to that guy because that guy's making things happen.
Billboard Jr., I'm on it.
Seriously. Third thing is coming to all these meetings here, what I'm seeing is a lot of contractors and people in the community. I was never experienced with those people. I go to other meetings, Washtenaw Business Association, there's painters, there's plumbers. I recently had a fall. I'm getting better. Literally, I could not turn the knob on my shower. It was so frustrating. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, but it made me think the hand thing. And I'm thinking, is there a place for you to work with like lower level people, plumbers, builders, plumbing companies? Because I'm seeing them come to my condo. There's a big place you could have a big impact, and they might be able to really take your information and apply it on the ground. And I'm one of those people that needs it. So that's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Hi, question for you. Are you interested in working with like Fortune 500 companies, state, local, and federal government?
Sure. I think it's so context dependent, so person dependent.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is to do that, you would have to obviously work really hard to get onto like a PO as opposed to someone just giving you kind of a one-off. And if you want to do state, local, and federal, then you have to go through a bunch of hoops and processes. And are you interested in doing that? Because if you are, it's a lot of work.
Yes, no, I have been doing, I put in a couple different bids with collaborators of mine. I'm so lucky I've got Will and I've got other collaborators in Michigan that have gone in on different proposals, which has been, not always successful, but always a good experience.
Hey, the work that you're doing, it sounds very similar to, the standard track of product development. And definitely in software, it is a very well established until, AI turn it over. So I guess the first question I have is, what track are you trying to carve out for yourself in terms of like product development? And maybe another more sort of like vague and general question is like in your story, I hear the engineer definitely is the number one stakeholder. The user of their products, and a lot of them are minority, people who are underrepresented is another stakeholders. Neither of these stakeholders appear to be holding the purse. So who else do you think is an important stakeholder in this story? It could be from a corporate environment or a government environment. Who else might be the critical stakeholders that may solve your problem?
Yeah, so for the first question, and hopefully I can remember your second question by the time I answer the first. For the first question, oh, good Lord, what was the first question?
Product development.
So I think that's where my developing and teaching graduate courses has come in huge because I'm, developing the curriculum of the next generation of practitioners and teaching it. And I'll say, if what we were currently teaching worked, my business wouldn't exist. So the way things are currently being done is not leading to products and technologies that are having the impact that we want them to have. So I am quite fundamentally shifting the way that we're educating, our advanced practitioners. And so I can go into all the ways that those are different, but it is like a fundamentally, it's quite different approach to the kinds of design processes that we go through. And I should, and can articulate that in different ways. The question about my stakeholders, I think engineers have a lot more resources than maybe we give them credit for. Not just like money, but just social capital and within their businesses. Engineers hold, there's a reason that I persisted all the way through my master's degree in mechanical engineering. It was not because I was super in love with it. It was very difficult, not just technically, but just like socially. It's a hard discipline to be in. But it gives you so much credibility and it gives you a lot of weight. And so, obviously there's all sorts of stakeholders that I'm considering. But I do think individual engineers have a lot more power than they give themselves credit for, and a lot more power to make a difference and to implement changes. So I think those are my main target.
Great, yeah. Thanks. So I love your presentation. I think
Thank
we
you.
know a lot more about all of this. So I think my question is sort of a follow-up. Who's the decision maker? Maybe thinking about the ones that you have closed so far and the jobs that you've done, and then kind of going forward, do they represent? And I'm thinking about the people that sign that check.
Yes.
So I 100% agree with engineers are going to be
Yeah.
really strong advocates and keep working with them. But there is that person that has to write the check and sign off on it. And so do you have clarity on who that person is, who you're going to be? Because I think that will help with, your
Yes.
question about who you positioning for.
I agree. And was it Beth?
Yeah.
Beth, this is a lesson I am actively learning. My lessons learned slide could have been just this one client who I had an amazing relationship with, this one person who was the director, and I was like, she was so excited. We were making these like 2-year plans of all the work we were going to do together. We get 3 months into it, and I learned that her actual leadership team are the people that had to sign off on it. And she hadn't really communicated to them this 2-year grand plan. And they thought they were hiring me for 3 months. And so when the 3 months came up, they were like, you did amazing, great job, see ya. And I was like devastated. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? So yes, this is like kind of a core developing question for me. That's why I think I'm trying to target the engineering managers, who I do think have more check signing power, and I think they have a role to kind of culturally influence the direction their engineers are taking and what they're putting their energy towards. And I think that's supported by quite a bit of the research that I did as a grad student as well.
Sounds good. I'd love to follow up. Oh, I won't hog the mic, but.
Oh, thank you. Laura, again, I also love your presentation. Something that I've noticed going around town and eating out way too much is I think there's a lot of hostile interior design.
Yes.
And you made a great example of this room. 1, these lights are too bright. 2, we can't dim them. These are all hard surfaces. So if you ever go to like a reasonably priced restaurant, the dining rooms are concrete boxes and it's insufferable to be in there. So I actually think engineering's a great venue, but I'm just like, how many places have I been where I sit down and I'm like, I can't have a conversation because I have to yell at Jen to talk to her.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So just, right. And if you can't hear me, there's a giant problem.
I was a curious question. Are there any companies or business industries you wouldn't want to work with? Like maybe defense industry or something else like that?
Yeah. Many.
Just thought I was
Thank you. Do you know what's interesting is we talk in engineering a lot, in like engineering ethics, about like, is the engineer who designed a gun, are they responsible for people who die at the hands of that gun? And like my perspective is yes. You cannot develop technology and then like divorce yourself from the impact of that technology. So I wouldn't say there's no world in which I wouldn't engage with people who are developing technology I find deeply problematic, like Gen AI I find wildly problematic. That doesn't mean I'm not engaging with it at all. It just means that that engagement is gonna look quite different, because I'm actually not necessarily in support of it. But yeah, I'm working on an AI practitioner project now that's really straddling that line between like, I find this deeply unethical, and what are we going to deal with the reality that it's embedded into all of our technologies at this point? So, ongoing question for sure. Yes, thank you.
2-part question. Have you already engaged with other networks, communities, things like that, and which ones were the most successful of getting you where you want to go, so we know how to refer you.
Yeah, I do all sorts of networking events. I'm down through the life sciences networking.
Biosocial.
Is that, yeah, biosocial, AT
We've been in some
biosocial.
places with some really hostile architecture.
Yeah, very hostile architecture, yeah. And that's been really fun. It hasn't necessarily led to like any clients, but you know, one of my most recent clients I got connected to through my biking group. Turns out I was just like yapping about my work like 2 years ago, and someone remembered it and then was like, oh, Laura should help us with that. And then they hired me to do something. So when I say relationships are everything, like I've found connections through all sorts of venues, and I think it's more about seeking the people that seem to have similar values over like, oh, we're people that are in the same industry, because like I said, I work across a lot of industries, which is in itself a huge challenge, because I can't just stake my claim and like, hey, I work in construction or whatever, but I have worked in construction, and I have worked in product, consumer products, and I have worked in software, so yeah, values more than particular venues. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
So, excellent presentation.
Thank you.
One feedback and one question.
Sure.
Feedback-wise, I used to be an engineering manager.
Amazing.
And I think you got to go a little bit higher.
Higher, okay.
Because engineering managers are kind of focused on engineering the product or whatever they're designing. So reach out to a VP level, director, maybe even C level, because that's when, at that level, if they accept your idea, then they can direct their engineering managers to help you.
Yeah.
But start there. Yeah, definitely reach out to engineering managers and then ask, who is your VP? Who is your who? In terms of question I had was, and I think you brought it up just a few minutes ago. You're looking for a business partner, and this is a great avenue to kind of advertise that. So, what are the qualities you're looking for in a business partner?
Yeah, I would not say that I'm looking for a business partner.
Or sales partner, I think.
Yeah. I think that's longer term. It seems advisable that I would find someone who has some complementary skills. And I think Will is a good example of that. We have quite complementary skills, and we're beginning our collaboration on a variety of projects, which is amazing. It'd be great to have someone who did have maybe more of a business sense in this like design space to help articulate that. Like a friend of mine is the CFO of a company locally, and we met a couple times, and she just has so much important knowledge that I God, I didn't even know this is the language that these people speak. So I think it's on my mind. It's certainly not a huge priority at the moment.
So if you think that we're still in clarifying questions, we're not. So if that's holding back your questions, we're on to the general questions now.
Good morning, Laura. Enjoyed your presentation immensely about engineering design. Great presentation, excellent view, a lot of proving points. One idea that I thought might be helpful for you is to be able to create an event around what you're trying to accomplish.
An event?
Yes. And so an event that is tailored to your expertise. And then continue to do that like every quarter. And you can draw people from that particular pool. The other was, your other ask that you needed help with was, did we know anyone that could possibly help you? Well, I don't know if you know about the autonomous vehicle group that meets every quarter at the University of Michigan. I have a direct contact with him.
Oh, fabulous.
He invites people from China all over to talk about autonomous vehicles. So that was the
awesome.
area that you said you were interested in. I'll make sure you connect with him.
That's amazing. April, thank you so much. I love the idea of a quarterly event. I feel like Will and I can work on that, maybe some kind of...
We just wrote it into a grant.
That's right, I forgot. I forgot we did that. Hopefully, if we get our grant money, we will be doing that. Oh gosh.
So I think a lot of people over here touched upon this in one way or the other, and we are coming a full circle. I think what you need is to somehow show people the value proposition, what you bring to the table, right? Because for a lot of companies, it's not that they're not aware of what they can do to improve their products, but it's probably just not worth doing it. Right?
That's not been my experience, but I can see how.
So,
yeah.
for example, they can make a change and they can reach a few more customers, but the change is more expensive. And so it's
Sometimes.
not economically worth. So unless you show them the value of how this change will help in terms of dollars and cents, it may not go anywhere. So I think you need to start putting actual numbers to what you're bringing to the table before your ideas can get sign-offs.
So I'm actually interested to hear if anyone has a response to that in addition to myself, because I've been in this for like 2.5 years now without leaning into that idea that everyone tells me that I need to show how many dollars I'm going to save through that. And like I've said, that's just not my expertise, and frankly, not necessarily my interest, like my primary interest. Although, like, of course, like, so much research shows the economic benefits of these different approaches that I can and do share with people. But yeah, I'm curious if anyone else has a response to that.
All hands go up.
Yeah. Well, and I'll just add, like, I've successfully gotten many clients without that particular thing, but that doesn't mean I'm not doing it right or whatever. Yeah.
We'll swing back around. So.
I have a. Wait, may I?
Yeah.
Yes. So I was kind of like Jen, and I'm thinking about different organizations that you
Yeah.
can partner with. So in the inclusivity world, for me, it would be the Food Allergy Research and Education. It's FARE, F-A-R-E,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
can give you a contact, so I've been to their national conference.
Amazing.
So food allergic people run into this issue of inclusivity all the time.
Everywhere,
because
yeah.
food is ubiquitous. And I don't know so much about the engineering, but I know there's some advances coming along with testing and things like that. So I can connect you with the people that I know, but maybe
Amazing.
think of other groups, like they may have a pot of money where you can write a grant.
Yeah.
And even just bring this, to the forefront.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ginger.
Yep.
Hi,
Hi.
Laura. Thank you. You did a great job today.
Thank you.
I'm not going to be your best friend.
That's okay. Tell me. No, that's why I wanted to open the conversation.
Yeah, I would love to think that having a business that has awesome ideas that the world can get something out of, in and of itself is enough. And I just have not experienced that. And I read your body language that when this comes up, you're not cool with it. And if you're going to go to decision makers who are going to pay you, I feel, my personal opinion, is if you don't have a dollar and cents layer something,
Yeah,
you
totally.
are going to reduce the scope of people you can work with to philanthropic people who love you, which is great, and if you can find a bunch of those, awesome. But I think at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, we're in a capitalistic society, we get paid. That's how the world works, that they're going to want to know that your awesome ideas are going to increase something or reduce something, right?
Yeah.
Now, I do have a contact at the University of Michigan who's into mobility and auto. I'll show it to you afterwards. You
Thank
can tell me
you.
if it's worth introducing
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
I also, again, just my personal opinion, when you can do anything for everyone, you are limiting your credibility in the marketplace. I would pick, I'm not saying you can't do everything for everyone, but I would focus on 1 or 2 lanes and build your depth there so that you
Yeah.
become that expert that people go to, because that's where they want to talk to somebody that talks their language, and if it's automotive, awesome, you're in
Yeah.
a great spot for that, right? That's what I would pick, probably, excuse me. Were you here last week by chance?
No, I was on vacation.
Because the gal, Pravina, who did Cardgility, like
Oh,
you
yeah,
keep
we've
coming.
met, yeah.
She just seems like
Yeah,
small.
we've chatted. Yeah,
That's
totally.
cool.
She's great.
So this is, I think you're doing great things. Please don't, I'm a CPA, so you know where this is all coming from. I just feel like the numbers matter, and
Totally. I think they do too.
Do you? Because I.
So can I tell you, one thing that comes to mind is that one reason why these methods are successful and have been proven to be successful is because the research, like the evidence that built these methods, that came from my practice, but also came from an entire body of design research literature, were shown to be successful in these other cases, right? So maybe that's like the literature I pull from.
Yeah, I think it's probably true. You just need to be able to talk to it specifically so people can get behind it.
Totally, which like I have and will and can. Just like wasn't necessarily my interest today. I had another comment. I'm not gonna remember, but yeah, no, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, totally. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sabrina.
Hi.
I also do consulting and have been in the disability advocacy space and disability access space my entire career. So a few things. I think the thing that people are talking to that you're like, do I? You have the research. There's so much research. Literally just use that. You don't actually have to take, and I think because you're an academic, in your brain, you're like, as an academic, because I did the same thing where I was like, I need all of this research that says this thing, and I need to do my own research, and I need to make it. And then I was like, you know what? I don't.
It's already been done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
And so literally just pull that.
Totally.
And that's it.
Which
and
is what I've been doing the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I represented that particularly well today, but yes.
That's what I'm saying. Is you're
what got me
saying
successful
there's
today.
research. I know there's research.
Yeah,
'cause I do
exactly.
that. I've in same field. Just pull that, and then everyone, what everyone is saying is then responded to.
Totally.
So that's one thing. That's
Thank
just
you so much.
the easy way around it. Have you? So I don't know if you've talked to the Disability Power Detroit, but
They're so great.
They're really great, but. In that thinking through who the other connections are is who is doing this on a different scale in a different sphere, and being able to then access their contacts that they're not actually well positioned for, right? Because they're not well positioned for some of the level of engineering that you're thinking through. But what are the other? There is a disability mobility access coalition that exists right now. Being in those kinds of spaces, and I can give you contact information, would probably be beneficial of who are the people who are dealing with the problem on a political scale, and then how do you insert yourself into the solution as a possibility. And then my third thing is I looked at your website. It feels really inaccessible with the font that you're using.
Oh my God, I know, it's horrible. It's horrible, I know.
So,
I'm working on it.
Okay,
the template, we're gonna work on it.
Okay, just as the first thing, I was
No, I know.
accessibility website, and I was
it's terrible.
I can't read that
No, I know,
font.
it's terrible.
Okay, cool.
I'm working on it, I'm
I was
aware.
just to do that, okay.
Like I said, I put it out a week ago. We're working on it.
For your first question, I think this will help you and will help the people that you're trying to talk to come up with examples of 3 or 4 different ways that you have fixed a situation.
Totally.
And have these 3 or 4 stories and examples that you can pull from depending on who you're talking to in order to give them a really vivid way of understanding who you're, what you're doing. And that gives a better sense of the value that you offer. People will connect with things emotionally, and then they'll make up a reason rationally.
Sure.
So if you can connect with them emotionally first, they're gonna go, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Now I'll figure out how to pay for it.
Sure, yeah. So would that be kind of short, client stories or something like that? A specific example, do you mean?
Anything you've come across where, and also the second part of this is, you haven't mentioned social media at all, but if you turned these stories into videos, just little shorts on YouTube, nothing extravagant, that could be really helpful. But just one person doing house inspections with a little finger pointer and just going around and smacking all the problems that he finds.
No, exactly, yeah.
I'm not building a house, but I love watching those
I know,
videos.
same.
But it's kind of that idea of just like, here's a problem, here's how we fixed it. Here's a problem, here's how you fixed it. Here's a problem that shows up everywhere.
Yeah.
And nobody fixes it. And it'll do so much for you when you work with me and we fix it.
Yeah, totally. No, I like that. Thank you, Jen.
Okay. Actually, a few more minutes I've got.
Hi, Laura. I was just more curious about not just the how you talk about it, but kind of, you mentioned podcast. What other kind of marketing and sales channels are you exploring? And then what are the topics or how you're going to strategize the podcast specifically?
Yeah, totally. So I haven't been working on a newsletter since December, which has been really fun. I advertise quite a bit through my classes, actually, because all my grad students are like, next year going to be practitioners. So I think that is like a future venue of that I'm excited to continue to engage with my students. And then the podcast, Will, did you have any comments on our podcast and ways we're going to advertise or something?
Or like, what's the strategy behind it? Like, who are you interviewing, or what are you talking about?
Yeah, so is this on? I think so. Yeah. So I think there's a couple different things we're approaching in the podcast. One is going to be sort of dissection and analysis, looking at and decoding, current technology that may be or may not be accessible as possible. And then the second thing is to have sort of slightly longer form conversations with people who are working in the field, engineers, product designers, and so forth, talking about specific design issues.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I think part of that basis was kind of like helping me understand. I think part of it is who to talk to first. What do they want? Going back to the original hands up question of economics, I don't know if I don't believe it's just money. Totally. One of the things that when I do consulting for, I basically hold them accountable to their values, and that's one of the easiest mirrors to find. So I would start looking for what the mirror is for that person or for that company, and then base it on those projects and say, hey, are you really doing sustainable, transparent design? And like how? And it's a mirror thing more than anything else. And if it's a CEO, then it's a dollar thing because that's their mirror.
Totally.
And so just in that context, because I think part of it does sell more than the dollars.
Yeah.
To your point, if it's values identified, then use the values as the sale.
Yeah, but I can see how that was where I was not so successful in converting that like sort of 3-month client into a 2-year client, was because I was speaking a values conversation and then the people signing the check were actually speaking a money conversation. And I think I definitely missed an opportunity in that way. Even though they were very happy with the work that I did, they've continued to build on the work that I did. Like I feel like that was a missed opportunity for me.
Yeah, and I think that gets based on who you're talking to and what it's about.
Exactly.
I have a pretty long email for you, so.
Great. Awesome. I'm so glad. Thank you.
Actually, what I wanted to do was thank Laura.
Thank you all so much.
And then, so it is time for our group photo. Shri, where are we going?
To the cafe.
To the cafe. So if I could have everyone, if you didn't get an opportunity